Tonight is the premiere, so I'm gonna see it all with everybody else.
I mean, does it have a rating yet? It's rated R.
It's rated R.
Yeah, it's a hard R, right? Okay, yeah. You kill children.
That is true. Cool. She dies twice.
Yes.
It's the story of this horrific family trauma. In the first few minutes of the movie, it's not really a spoiler. Storm, her character is Ashley Radcliffe. She's the niece of Detective Jack Radcliffe, David Oyelowo over here. Mm-hmm. Her and the rest of her family die in this horrific family massacre. And out of Jack Radcliffe's grief comes this, and maybe not just his grief, but maybe his wish that he could change things. A phone call comes, maybe from the dead. Maybe it's being mishandled in the property room, he's not sure, but it's from her phone number. And he doesn't even answer it at first. But slowly over the course of the movie, he decides to answer the phone, and he hears her voice on the other end. He renders him speechless at first. He doesn't know if that's a ghost or if that's him going mad. And eventually he recognizes something that she says and places it in time and realizes she's calling from another time, a time before she died. This really dark, stressful movie is infused with this ray of hope that maybe somehow these people can sort of stretch out the fabric of the universe and change it.
When I first read the script, I was very intrigued, and I loved it. And it was a little confusing at the beginning of it, not knowing what was happening and like, why is she calling? I thought she was just on the floor, deceased. So it was a little challenging, but I knew it would be something that I wanted to do. And that it was a challenge, it intrigued me even more because I always want to do something that I've never done before.
Similarly, when I read it, it was not only a challenging character, but a challenging premise to pull off. You know, these different timelines and how emotionally those characters are operating in those different timelines. But for me, you know, as a father myself, what really hooked me in was the emotional side of things, this notion of trying to pull someone back from the precipice of death. We talked about it a lot, you know, in the build-up, how to make this feel emotional and connected in the way you feel when two people are actually in a scene together. You're seeing them react to each other and all that kind of stuff. And one of the things that I think helped immensely is that we were always on set for each other when the phone calls were happening. So if we were shooting it now, I would be just in the next room so that, you know, Storm could hear me audibly or I could hear her audibly, because there's so much you get just in the person's presence as opposed to it purely being through this piece of technology. And I do think that translates onto the screen and therefore the audience, that even though they're apart, there is this connection.
This is a Blumhouse production. I'm curious, when you started to work with them, you know, a lot of people have been calling this a horror movie before seeing it. Were you nervous about being like, it's not a horror movie, it's a thriller movie?
What I knew about Jason Blum and Cooper Samuelson, who Ryan Turek and Bea, who also produced the movie at Blumhouse, is that they're very sensitive, intelligent people, unafraid to take big risks. And there's a reason they've made Whiplash and that they made Get Out and that they made The Jinx, and there's a number of beautiful movies that they've made that are outside of the genre of horror. It's because they're interested in stories that move them. But mainly I just understood that they care about what they do. And I think this whole idea that there's such a thing as independent film is not quite true. We are all dependent on our partners to make our film, and we have to choose good partners or else. If I don't choose these good actors who can carry the scenes, then the scenes will not work. And if I don't choose good partners as producers, they will make my life miserable, or they will raise me up with their intelligence and their generosity and their spirit and their passion. And so that doesn't matter. You can find those people at big Universal, you can find those people at Blumhouse, and you can find those people at like Minnie Mouse Productions that you've never heard of. People will see this movie or they won't, and when they see it, they'll realize what it is and they'll talk about it, you know.